Hey, it is Wednesday. I am so very excited for my guest today. It's live backstage with Cyndi Rowe and another Cyndi Brush. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Cyndi. I'm so excited to be here.
I am thrilled to have you. I always enjoy our conversations. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, give our viewers a little insight.
Awesome. Yeah. So I am an entrepreneur, just like you, a boss business lady, just out here working. I own CB Coaching and Consulting for a while, where I did life coaching and consulting, which I still do. But with the pandemic, I am a social worker and I got my licensed clinical social work license. So now I do therapy. I own Mindset Matters LLC. And my thing that I work on is cognitive behavioral therapy and solution focused therapy. So that's where I'm at now.
So what's cognitive behavioral therapy?
Well, just like my business name, Mindset Matters, it's just about your mindset, especially with the pandemic that happened this last year. So many people have gone through so many things, whether it is anxiety driven, panic attacks because of the changes that are happening to the world, depression, even job loss. So what I do is I just work with, individuals, sometimes couples and families, just working with them to kind of change their mindset, think of, different ways to deal and cope with what they're going through, especially through the pandemic. As you know, it was a hard time for everyone, and mental health is just so important to me. That's why it was important for me during that time to get my license, so I'm able to help others during this time. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Have you always been in social work, even with your business prior to the pandemic?
Yes, I have. Social work to me is very important and near and dear to me. I believe in social justice. I believe that each human being needs to have a voice. And if they don't have a voice, I'm able to help them. So my background a little bit too, my family is from Laos, which is a third world country in Asia. And they had hard times when they came to the United States with transitioning and everything else. And everybody goes through transition, right? So with that, it kind of steered me like, how do I help others as I got older with their life transition and changes? And how do I help them and give them a voice? Because my parents didn't know what to do. However, they were entrepreneurs themselves. That's what made me want to be an entrepreneur. So yeah, social work has always been near and dear to me, and I've always done volunteer work or just working as a social worker. So yeah.
We have a very similar background as far as our families were entrepreneurs. So what did your family, what did they do? What kind of businesses did they have, or business?
They actually owned a restaurant for probably 20 years, actually here in the Rockford area. It was called Mekong Restaurant, and my parents ran it. It was family owned and operated. No one else was on there. It was my mom was the cook. My dad was the dishwasher. My brothers were the server. I was host, bus person. We did it all. What it taught me, and as for you as an entrepreneur, is hard work and dedication gets you where you need to be. And I think when you think of entrepreneurship, you're like, oh, you have that freedom. Yes, you have that freedom, but you also have to work hard in order to grow your business, in order to be successful. And you have to have that mindset that I want this. So I grew up with that mindset where I'm like, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want this. I want to succeed. I want to do well for myself, and I want to work for myself.
Yeah. So you answered a question before I even asked. Like, what did you get from that? But yeah, the hard work, the determination, those are some things that were instilled in me as well, as I watched my dad with his business and the skill set and being, having integrity with what you do. And I really feel like those are pillars, I guess, to my success as a business owner, an entrepreneur, knowing that that's what I have to do in order to have success. So super cool that that's what you experienced as well.
I think it's harder for women, in business. I think we have to work like triple time harder, and it's the truth. And I think it's important that we support each other. I know you and I have supported each other in many, many different things for our businesses. And it's so important. There's room for everyone to eat. There's room to grow. And just seeing us women work together just to like conquer it all is amazing to me. I think it's, the future is female.
Yeah, I agree with you. And having that strong tribe of women that do support and push you and encourage you, and they're there whether you have a bad day or maybe they've experienced something that you're experiencing, and they can give you that insight to make it through. I mean, those are the people that I want around for sure. Where do you find those people in your life?
I feel that you probably heard that saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah. I really do think that. I think your energy that you put out there, I think networking always helps out, or even a friend of a friend, the connection, there's no way to deny any connection if you have it with a person. So I think my vibe and my energy is attracting and aligning with a lot of women right now that's either entrepreneurs or even in the work field, because I understand that too. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a successful person, in the world. You could be in the corporate world and still be very successful and very happy. I think it all stems into really yourself, your self-love and your self-worth. And I think that's one thing I know I push a lot since before the pandemic, something I worked on myself, and starting 2019 to current is like making time for me, making sure that I'm okay, because if my cup isn't filled, there's no way I could fill anybody else's cup. So with that energy, I feel like I got such great core friends and acquaintances and connection, just because, again, your vibe does attract your tribe. So that's how I think they just come to me, and I gravitate. It's like natural,
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome. And I feel like a few years ago, that's really something that you instilled in me, is that self-love and taking the opportunity and the time to reflect, like, what are you doing for you? Because you can't be a great entrepreneur or business owner if you are not filling your own cup, like you just said, like that. I believe that 100%. And that really helped me through some pretty challenging times. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. If anybody ever talks to me, or if you're watching right now, I cannot stress it enough that knowing your self-worth and your self-love does not make you selfish. You deserve it. We are hardworking people out there, men or women. You go to work, you do everything you can. You're a good parent, sister, daughter, whatever. And it's almost like you're trying to give to everyone in the world, but what are you giving to yourself? So that's why I feel like I push it a lot, even in my practice as a licensed clinical social worker, is that I always ask, like, what have you done for yourself? What did you do this week for self-care? Because self-care is self-love, whether it's, journaling, exercising, or just taking time, a bubble bath, whatever. Just take that moment for yourself and kind of center yourself. So therefore you can take on the everyday battles of, whatever it's coming your way, or whatnot, so you're not overwhelmed and overworked, because you're giving yourself that time, me time.
Yeah. Important. I love that. I love that point, that it is not selfish to take care of yourself. So
not at all.
Super, super cool. So the pandemic kind of shifted your path a little bit. You were able to get licensed, right? Is that how you said it?
So I'm a social worker, but I do life coaching. As you know, I did life coaching and consulting, and I still do. However, with the shift, everybody was losing their jobs. Not so many people were able to pay my rate, which is understandable. It's hard times. Like, we didn't know what's going to happen. And this is what I suggest for everyone too. It's like, during this time right now is to figure out what you want to do, or what your passion is, or what you feel like you can learn and achieve. So instead of sulking about it, I figured many different ways. And as an entrepreneur, you know yourself, you should think about funnels, you know, and if you don't know what funneling is, you need to Google it, or I'll kind of give you ideas to have different revenues coming in, you know. So during that time of the pandemic, I didn't know what I was going to do. I signed contracts to teach classes, and I wasn't able to do that because we were not gathering. You know, everything was over Zoom. No one was really knowing how to use Zoom, where there's technical difficulty. So I'm like, oh my God. So one of my good friends and I collaborated, and I did a journal, and she does skincare. So we did it kind of like a collaboration of that, and that went great. And then I did a line brand, the Cyndi brush collection, where it had mantras and affirmations on my shirt during that time. And then I did a planner. I teamed up with another. Yes, thank you, Cyndi, for supporting that. Yes.
I used it. Oops, there's the blank spots, but no, I used it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I teamed up with local people too. So I'm thinking to myself, like, if I'm struggling a little bit, I'm sure someone else is too. So why not team up together and work together to create something amazing for those out there? But in the meantime, as I'm doing these funnels, I'm also thinking, what else can I do to make sure that I'm still going to have a career, that I'm still going to be able to work on my own? So I said, you know what, this is the perfect time for me to study for my clinical license. I had to scale back. I had to cut everybody off and had to explain to them, hey, I really need to do this for the next, 3 months. This is important to me, and I'm going to focus on that. And I did that. I took the test and I passed. And now born my new business, Mindset Matters LLC. And now I'm out here helping people, and it feels good to me. I feel like I'm meeting my passion. And also in between therapy, I'm still doing life coaching and consulting. So it all kind of ties together.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't put yourself in a bubble. Step outside the box. Ask yourself, what else can I do? Keep reading, keep learning, keep trying, fall on your face a couple of times, pick yourself back up and do it again. That's how hard work and dedication works. Then watch it all come together, because that's what success is. You have to work hard, and then you get to reap the rewards of that.
So what's a big failure you've encountered over the last few years? Not counting COVID, because that was really something that, we couldn't control, I guess. But what was a failure that you've had?
I have a lot. If you talk to my brother, he'll say, I can't believe how many times that you have fell on your face, but yet, you pick yourself back up. And I think fear has a lot of things with a lot of failures for many people. I think that I was in corporate America longer than I wanted to, and there's nothing wrong. But if you have an entrepreneur heart and you know that that's something you want to do, fear kind of scared me, and I think it made me stay longer than I wanted to. The job that I was at, I wanted to only do it for 2 years, and I ended up being there for 6 years. And then the moment I took a leap, I know we're not talking about COVID, but let me tell you, the moment I took the leap, COVID happened. And I'm like, oh crap, what do I do now? Like all my contracts, all that stuff was up in the air, and I was feared. And then everybody was on a hiring freeze. So I'm like, oh my God, am I going to make it? The power of prayer, the power of consistency, and, talking to my friends and family, your support system. They kind of, hey, you got this. Like, whatever you want to do, just do it now. Not, I went full force too. You have to have that mindset. Like, okay, I'm already, I wouldn't say rock bottom. It's not rock bottom, but I'm already kick down a few notches. I can't go any lower than this. So I'm just going to go full steam ahead. I invest in myself. And you have to too, I know it's scary. You're like, oh my God, but I have a mortgage, I have a car payment, this and that. It's like, okay, if I invest in myself, I know it's going to come back to me. One of my good friends, which her, Kara, she always said to me, money you can make, so I had to try to put that in my mindset. And then for me, time is something you can't get back. Right. So therefore, I'm like, okay, I need to invest my money and time, and I'm going to get it back. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it is worth it. It is well worth it. And if it doesn't work out, then you try again, something else. Then it wasn't meant for you. Easier said than done, I know, but it's like you have to have that mindset. You know that as an entrepreneur. I'm sure you tried many things, and some things do work out really well, and some things don't. Yeah. Another time is I did a workshop, and I was so excited. I think it was probably 4 years ago. It was a vision board workshop, and I loved that. But I don't know what it was. Only one person showed up, but I still taught that one person like I had a room full of people. Because I didn't give up. And even though in my heart it was so disheartening, I still was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pretend like there's 25 people, 30 people in here, and we'll still go with it. But it gave me the confidence, though, because I just used it as a practice. But it was disheartening to see one person show up with something that you worked so hard to put together, But then I did one last year in like January, February, and I sold out. So therefore, you know what I mean? I just didn't give up. I didn't allow that to hinder me from still doing something I love and helping people, getting your goal settings, all these things. Vision boards are amazing. I don't know. Do you have one, Cyndi?
I do.
You should be able to see it. I'm looking at mine right now as we're talking. So
I can't carry it around with me, but I do have it in my bedroom, so I do see it every day.
Yeah, they say to put it somewhere that you can see every day. And you should have a visual. You should have a vision. And my suggestion is if you're going to do a vision board, do a 3 to 6 months. Long term is great, but you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So you kind of have to look short term a little bit and then groom it to long term. So.
Yeah. So how do you define success?
For me, if I feel good, that's me being successful. If I feel good at what I put out in the universe and what I'm doing to help others, that's success to me. If you ask younger Cyndi what success looked like, I would probably say money or status. Like if I don't have that status, then I'm not successful. And honestly, as I'm getting older and I'm understanding myself a little bit more and giving myself a little grace, the success to me is my true happiness. It is a choice. It's a hard choice. It's not an easy choice. You can say, be happy. But some days are just harder than others. And I think now that I look at my career, even my career path and how many times I got frustrated, but where I'm at today, I feel like I am successful. I feel like I made it because I didn't give up and I'm doing good in this world. You know what I mean? I'm putting out good energy. I'm helping those who need help the most. And it's not about the money anymore. But however, if you create something that you love, the money comes. People say that all the time. And in my 20s, I'm like, yeah, right. Nah, okay. Let me see that happen. But I get it. When you get older, when you do things you love, the puzzle pieces do come together. And it's so fulfilling to me. It's so exciting, to see this. So that's what success looks like to me. And to each individual, it's going to be different. But to me, that's what it is. I feel good at what I do, and it makes me happy, and it helps others, and they are happy. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not be feeling successful?
Yeah. And it kind of brings me to a point where it's like, we're wealthy and rich, but not necessarily with the bank account, but with everything else that is surrounded in our lives, and that you cannot replace. Like that's worth a lot more than
true friendship. It's nice to know 100 million people, but it doesn't feel as good to know that you have the core people that has your back, your tribe, as we say, and even companionship, your person, those kind of things. In time, if you have kids, like time goes by so fast, they grow so fast. Yeah. And I'm just like, slow down, but I have to make the time. Because again, time is something you can't get back. You have to make the time no matter what. I'm so busy. You know what? If you're so busy, dinner time should just no phones, nothing. Enjoy each other's moment. Go for a walk. Set the time and intentions for these things, So I feel like it's so different when I was younger to now, and it's amazing to see, to reflect. They always say you're going to reflect back and see, and I'm like, yeah, right. But now I'm like, yeah, I get it and understand it, and I preach it as much as possible too.
Yeah.
Live in the moment.
So what kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Give yourself some grace. Like, girl, things are going to be okay, and it'll come together. Just because you're so forceful and so now doesn't mean it's going to work out that way. It's actually, you made it harder for yourself.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to learn from all these opportunities or challenges, and you'll see that things will work out. Just putting that pressure on yourself it didn't make anything go faster or better. It just gave you more anxiety and disheartening moments. So I would tell myself to slow down, have some grace, and trust the process.
Yeah,
really,
I like that a lot. And I learned that quickly after my car accident, that I had to give myself grace, that I wasn't going to be able to do all the things that I had once planned, and it was okay. Just take every day by day, and work as hard as I can at that moment. And like you even said, things will come to you. And yeah, it's been a ride, but I'm grateful that I've allowed myself to have grace. Or like when I needed to take a nap, and I kept on, I had to for my brain, but as an entrepreneur, I'm like, we don't rest.
Yeah.
we don't take a nap at 2:00.
Right. What's that? Like, we're supposed to work 70 to 80 hours a week. There's no life, there's no relaxation, but it makes you a better person, though. It makes you function better. Why not? Just like doing stuff for yourself, getting your hair done, pedicures, manicures, massages, or gym membership. First, you're like, oh my God, you're looking at your budget, like it costs so much, but also it makes you feel so good. Yeah. And when you feel good, you accomplish more. They always say you look good, you feel good, you do good, right? If you wake up, you look like, terrible, you're going to have a terrible day. It kind of is like the start of that. And plus, it also gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
When you do things for yourself, even the nap, like that you need it, your body's shutting down. That if you take a nap, you're going to be more productive when you are awake than if you push through. Sometimes you have to listen to your body. There's only one you. Everybody says that all the time, and it's the truth. There's only one you. So pushing it to the max will not make things better. It makes it worse. Just like the advice to my younger self. It's like, it's going to be okay. If it doesn't get accomplished today, tomorrow's another day. If you don't like the person you are today, the nice thing about tomorrow, you can create another persona. You can start fresh. It's a clean slate. It's your mind. It's your mindset. You have to, first of all, give yourself grace. Second of all, believe in yourself. And third of all, do the work. We all want to win the lottery. We all want stuff to fall in our laps, It just doesn't work that way. But if you find out and you figure out how to make yourself happy, how to improve your daily living, if it's, eating better, working out, or learning something new, or even side hustle, as you know that your business sometimes doesn't fall on. Like I said, I was in the corporate world, but during the time I still had my business on the side. I just couldn't say I did that full time. Right. Now that I have an opportunity, it's amazing. It's opening so many doors for me. I'm able to make choices and saying yes and saying no. I can't push that enough. It's just invest in yourself. I'm talking about not just money, but the time. Like if you need to rest, if you need to reset, reschedule, whatever, do it. Do it for the greater good of you,
Great advice. Great advice.
You can tell I'm passionate about this. This is why I'm a social worker and I do therapy, because I want that. I want to be able to give people tools that they could utilize. Let's not just talk about it. Let's be about it. If you're upset about your life, let's make changes small changes that is going to encourage you to get the big changes. You know what I mean? It's up to you, and you can do it. You're capable.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm writing down what you just said.
Good, because then I need to remember what I say sometimes.
We're both like that. So I have to ask, because, we're friends on Facebook and I also follow you on your business pages, but
Sure.
you travel more than anybody I know to all these amazing places. So how do you pick like the next destination? I know this has nothing to do with business, but I've always wanted to ask it. And maybe
self-love. That's something I've always wanted to do, was travel the world. So I kind of list out places that I kind of do a bucket list almost at first, and then I kind of narrow it down. I do stalk the internet of like Google flights to see where, the destination, and I've been able to find great deals to go to many places. Like Iceland, for one, it's only a 6-hour full flight to get there, and it's beautiful and magical. It's so, to me, why I love to travel, it's just amazing to see other cultures, and that, oh my God, we live on this earth together, but you're somewhere different and you speak another language. It's just amazing to me. So traveling is majorly important to me. Last year I did a solo international trip, 3 weeks in Asia, Southeast Asia, before the world shut down, and I would not change it for the world. It was the most amazing experience. I didn't really know anyone while I was traveling. I just figured it out. I just put my mind to it and said, I want to do this, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So I do love to travel a lot, and I make it happen by just, stalking Google flights, and, either I go on my own. You got to be fearless in things that you want. Or I have a couple of friends that do travel with me, and we get along very well. So it makes it easier.
That's awesome. All right, so we're getting towards the end of the show. I have one more question for you. So tell me where you see Cyndi Brush in the next few years. How are you transforming?
We talk about funnels, and, my biggest thing right now, my goal is to work smarter and not harder. I hope to expand my practice and get some more therapists in, then eventually maybe even kind of exit out and do some teaching and workshops more. I love speaking engagement, which I see that you're looking into being in speaking. It's just a high, and I enjoy it so much. So that's where I see myself in the next few years here. It's just building up Mindset Matters, being able to help others with more therapists, and then hopefully doing more speaking engagements and workshops and traveling.
Where's the next trip?
I'm going to go to Alaska. So the end of August is when I'm planning to go. I've never been there before, and I'm super excited to see. Since I can't really I could do a little bit international. I'm more staying in the United States now. So I'm just trying to travel around. So Alaska is a pick right now.
That's awesome. I'm very jealous of all your trips, but you give me hope that someday I can travel the world, because that's one of my dreams.
Yes, you just got to do it. You know what I mean? Just put your Google flights on tracking, and then just say, I'm just going to do it, and just make it happen. Sometimes you just have to push yourself forward to do things that, it's uncomfortable, but in the end of things, it makes us so much happier.
Yeah, that's great advice. So we're at the end of the show. I told you the 30 minutes just flies by.
It flew by. I had so much fun.
I like to give my guests the opportunity to close it out, sharing about their business, where they can find you, how they can, get in touch with you if they need to. So I will let you roll with that.
Sure. My social media is my name, Cyndi Brush, CyndiBrush. And also my website is cindybrush.com. And I still have my merchandise available for purchase, affirmation and mantras. So that's where you can find me. And if anybody has any questions or concerns, email me. I'm more than happy to answer.
You have t-shirts still available?
Yes, I do.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Cyndi. It was a pleasure talking to you. I have lots of notes, and I do it every time. But
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. This is fun, and I love it. Thank you.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.